I'm with James Goodman, Head of Futures from Forum for the Future, who's going to be talking to us about Tourism 2023. And James, just very briefly tell us what Tourism 2023 actually is.
Tourism 2023 is an initiative from the UK outbound tourism industry, led by ABTA and the Travel Foundation and a number of businesses in the sector, and facilitated by Forum for the Future, which is looking at what sort of future the tourism sector in the UK may face, and developing a vision for a sustainable industry and a strategy for how to achieve that vision, no matter which of those scenarios actually takes place.
Now, do you think the UK outbound industry is very good at looking far in the future, or does it tend to take a short-term view?
Well, I think traditionally, like many industries, inevitably there's a reasonably short-term view that predominates. People are worried about their businesses at the moment, especially given the current climate, and looking to next year, maybe the year after. That's true for parts of the sector. Other parts of the sector have a longer term view. So clearly where a lot of technology is involved, lead times in developing infrastructure and so on, there is a longer term view. But I'd say in terms of business planning and marketing and business models, it's perhaps shorter term than it should be. And that's what part of this project's about. It's about developing longer term strategies, and the time frame for this project is 2023, as the project title suggests. So we're looking out 14 years now into the future and what the industry could be like then.
Now, my understanding is this isn't about predicting the future, but this is about looking at some of those things that are going to happen anyway, climate change and ageing population and things. But are there some common themes across these scenarios that the industry really needs to take account of in order to prepare now for what is an uncertain future otherwise? There
are common themes across the scenarios. There are some things that we know are going to happen in the future with reasonable amount of certainty, such as climate change. We know that that's happening. We also know that there will be a response to climate change. We don't know exactly what that will be, but we know that business models will have to change to achieve the carbon dioxide emissions cuts that we have as targets, 80% by 2050. So that's definitely happening. We know that water is a scarce resource, and that increasing demand means that that's going to have to be dealt with in a much more strategic way than it is at the moment. We also know that demographic change just means that there are going to be more people wanting to travel, not just from the UK but from around the world. So those issues are in all of the scenarios. The scenarios respond to these issues in different ways. So for example, we have one scenario which we called carbon clampdown, which is a very proactive and positive response to climate change, where we have personal carbon quotas that are tradable in the UK, and that has a huge influence over how people want to travel and so on. But we have another scenario called boom and burst, where there's a very much more technological response to climate change.
So, in your view, what would you like to see the industry do now that we've come up with these possible scenarios, these plausible futures? What do you want to see the industry doing now to take this forward so that it does prepare for those futures?
Well, as well as putting the scenarios together, we have a vision for a sustainable industry. And that vision deals with environmental issues, it deals with community issues, employee issues. It looks at the entire picture from a sustainability point of view. And we want industry to sign up to that vision. And we already have large players from the industry, such as TUI, such as BA, signed up to that vision. We would like other players in the industry to sign up to it. And then we'd like to see collaboration across the industry in making that vision a reality. And that means work in three areas primarily at the moment, and one of those is low carbon innovation, another of those is demonstrating and improving the sustainability impacts of tourism in destinations, and the third is communicating work to consumers so that the industry is bringing consumers with it, and that's critical so that there's actually a market for sustainability.
Well, that's fascinating, and long may this continue and improve what the industry is doing, and thank you very much, James.
Pleasure.